East Ridge Debate Banquet. I'm Claire McIntyre.
And I'm Mark Zelnikov.
We will be your MCs tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Before we get into our program, we would like to introduce you to the coaches for the team.
All right, first we have our head coach, Katie Scholes. And our assistant coaches, Tammy Trout McIntyre.
No! You'll have to use Mr. Microphone.
Oh well, we'll try this. Sorry folks, I'm not an audio engineer. I'll just yell. Tammy, by the way, won the Minnesota Debate Coach of the Year Award. Give her a hand.
Yeah, congratulations.
And then I myself teach public forum. We just got to yell into it.
While we coaches play an essential role, it's only possible with the support of our Booster Club Board. Would all the members of our Booster Club Board please stand? Our secretaries, Jian Zhang, Min Van Wong, our treasurer, Jennifer Wallen, our vice presidents, Dan McIntyre and Anita Paramala, and our president, Paul Swenson. Please give them all a round of applause.
The other important component of our team's success, is our parents and families. Without your judging, volunteering, and support, our debate team would not exist. Team, give your parents a round of applause.
And then Katie, I believe you wanted to say a couple words about our volunteers.
Thank you.
Many of you students have got to meet the significant others of much of our coaching staff, except me. I don't have one. Might be fate. But I want to make sure that we give them all a round of applause because we have seen Dan McIntyre at so many debate events this season, putting stuff together, serving people food, literally right now, handing things out. So let's thank Dan. And then we also have Rainey, who came with Claire tonight, and Barbara, who came with Mark, who judged so many tournaments. And for those of you on the booster board, you know how hard it can be to find judges. And it is just so awesome to have two people who can be suckered into judging on a Saturday for poor coffee. So let's give them a round of applause too.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, folks. Debate is possible because of everyone here, and we are so grateful for you. Thank you. We'll do it again next year.
All right, speaking of what is possible, we would like to take a few minutes to review some of the season's highlights. Please hold your applause until the end. In our 2022 to 20...
Which one are you using?
Yeah, just try this one. Just hold it out.
In our 2022 to 2023 season, we had a huge team. We had 4 coaches and 68 debaters. Each debater spent 128 hours at practices, not counting the additional work the students did outside of their scheduled practices. They competed in 10 local tournaments, and they spent 763 minutes riding the bus to and from tournaments. And this all equaled a fantastic season.
But before we start talking about hardware and placing, let's take a second to remember what the East Ridge Debate Team is all about. As coaches, we are all here pushing your children to have personal growth and to take on personal challenges. And that's different for every student on our team. We do our best as coaches to meet students where they are and to help them push themselves as far as they are comfortable. So I'd like to ask every student to close your eyes for a sec. put down the food you're trying to eat. That could be a mess. And I want you to take a second and think of one thing that you're taking home from this season that you didn't have when it started. One skill, one lesson learned, one fun experience, a new friend, something that you got out of this season. That is valuable.
All right, let's go over some of the highlights. In April 2022, we sent 3 students, Anjali, Kenneth, and Emily, to the Tournament of Champions. This tournament requires students to earn 2 bids to qualify by placing the top 2 spots at national circuit tournaments, and it is no small feat to give them we're going to hold the applause, that's right.
In June 2022, we sent 9 students to the NSBA National Tournament. Gia, Mathan, Kathy, Joshua, Alan, Lily, Juhei, Anjali, and Kenneth. Of those students, Lily and Juhei made it to round 6 in public forum. Anjali made it to the semifinals in the House Congressional Debate, and Kenneth made it to the final round in the Senate Congressional Debate, auto-qualifying him for this year's Tournament of Champions and the National Tournament.
But that's not all. 2 of the 8th graders on our team, Anura and Rishi, made it to the final round of extemporaneous speaking in the NSDA Middle School National Tournament. Rishi placed 6th, and Anura was the champion.
Then fast forward to this school year. Let's take a look at how our debaters did at notable tournaments. At our first tournament of the year, the MDTA Jamboree, in the House and Congress, Angie and Bercy tied for first place, Nina took 3rd, Chris took 4th, Rohan took 5th, Naomi took 6th, Srija took 7th, and Jack and Will tied for 8th. While in novice public forum, Sahiti and Anya took 3rd. In JV public forum, Sahi and Caroline took 4th, Daniel and Anura took 5th, and Eamon and Danny took 10th. And then in varsity public forum, Justin and Kevin took 7th, and Lucas and Anton took 8th.
At the Eastridge Home Tournament, the Raptor Invitational Palooza, held on Halloween, in novice public forum, Ishika and Anaga took 6th place. In JV public forum, Eamon and Danny took 3rd, Yashas and Rishi took 4th, and Sahi and Caroline took 5th. In varsity public forum, Lily and Juhei took 5th.
At the Minneapolis tournament in November, Anjali and Ivy made it to the final round in Congress, both earning bids to the Tournament of Champions. And Anjali took 4th place and won the leadership bowl.
Also in November at the Badgerland tournament held in Madison, Lily and Juhei made it to the semifinal round in public forum, securing a bid to this year's Tournament of Champions. At our local invitational, the Robbinsdale Birds of Prey tournament, in the Senate, Bercy took 8th, while Kenneth was the champion. And in JV public forum, Sahithi and Anaya took 2nd.
At the Blake tournament, both Bella and Kenneth broke to the semifinal round in Congress.
And then at the Sunfight tournament earlier this month, Ivy made it to the semifinal round in Congress, securing her 2nd bid to this year's Tournament of Champions.
At the JV Novice State Championship tournament, Bercy, Naomi, and Angie made it to the final round of Novice Congress, placing 3rd, 6th, and 9th respectively. At the same time, Ivy took 3rd place in JV Congress.
Then in Novice Public Forum, Danny and Yashas made it to the doubles. Indira and Anaga and Sahithi and Anaya made it to the octafinals. Akane and Ishika made it to the quarterfinals. And Jason and Vincent made it to the semifinal round. While in JV Public Forum, Sahi and Rishi made it to octafinals, and Anura and Daniel made it to the quarterfinals.
We sent Anders and Kenneth for the Minnesota State Congress Section Tournament. Both qualified for the state tournament, with Kenneth finishing as the Section 4 champion and taking 3rd place overall.
And at the Minnesota State Public Forum sections, our teams of Lily Spalding and Juhei Son and Satya Mathan both qualified for state.
And then when the Minnesota State Tournament happened earlier this month, Kenneth placed 4th in congressional debates.
And and Lily and Juhei made to the quarters and public forum.
Now, let's take a look at the students who have qualified for upcoming tournaments.
For the Tournament of Champions in April, Ivy, Kenneth have both qualified to attend in Congress, but we still have other students working hard to earn their bids to qualify.
Then moving on to the national tournament, which is being held in Phoenix, Arizona. Our congressional qualifiers are Anjali and Anders, who qualified to go in the House, and Ivy and Kenneth, who qualified in the Senate. While our public forum qualifying team is Mathan and Satyam. Let's give all those people a round of applause.
As you can see, Eastridge Debate had an awe-inspiring season. Each and every one of our debaters are impressive. Let's give the rest of them all a round of applause. Now could our current team president, the president-elect, and our current captains please stand?
We'd like to recognize this season's captains. Please give them a debate classic one clap. Now parents, if you don't know what this looks like, it's gonna go something like this. John Smith. So let's all give it a try. John Smith. Great. So now to recognize our captains. Alan Way. Anders Swenson. Apurva Gadavarti. Bella Lasker. Catherine Ndovu. Gia Lava. Juhei Song. Justin Luan. And Kenneth Chen. Our President-elect, Anjali Nambudiri. And lastly, our President, Lily Spalding. Thank you all so much. You can have a seat.
Now, here to give her parting remarks, please welcome our team president, Lily Spalding.
Can everyone hear me like this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm truly not ready to do this yet, but hello everyone, I'm Lily Spalding. I am the senior captain of the debate team, or the senior president. So, a couple days ago, Tammy told me to make this speech about 2 minutes long. That's the amount of time it takes to give a final focus speech in public forum, which I often go over time on. So I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing today. And with that, my time will begin now. I'm just kidding, I'm not.
Just shout. I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But I'm also supposed to be giving my parting remarks today. But I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to say goodbye yet to debate. So I'm going to stall before I have to get to the sentimental stuff. I started debate as a sophomore, mid-COVID, and I joined for 2 reasons. Now, hello. I was getting really good at arguing with my mom about why I shouldn't have to do any chores. And also, second, I had a crush on a guy on the PF team. She joined for a boy, really? Yes, I did join for a boy. And it backfired heavily on me because the next week he quit the team because he transferred schools. I was pretty sad, but I then got an email from my captain containing the PF guidebook. I clicked on the link and was instantly hooked. The pieces started coming together. I worked really hard during summer camp. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I knew I loved it. I started with my first partner, Kenneth. I learned a lot from him. And then he ditched me and decided to go to Congress. And I guess this worked out decently for him because he's a finalist at nationals. So I think we should all give him a round of applause again for that. I was then assigned to my next partner, who I had a great time with, but the week before our first tournament, at no fault of her own, she had to quit the team. I remember composing myself before calling Katie. I was a frantic novice who had no partner the week before my first ever tournament. 25 kiddos and monsters later, she told me that I had 2 options. Go to Congress or become a maverick. What's a maverick? I asked her. Solo. Public forum is a 2-on-2 style. I'd be going 1-on-2, by myself, for my first tournament. And I was very clearly not going to be going to Congress because, well, it's Congress. So I went with my second option. I was flying solo. It was the morning of my first tournament, and I could literally see my heart beating through my chest when I looked in the mirror. I went through my rounds and I felt a feeling like I had never had before. I can't come up with the words to describe it, but I simply felt whole. And I know that feels cliche, but that is the only way I can think of describing it. At the end of the day, it was announced that I went 4-0 and had the highest speaker points of the tournament. The confidence overwhelmed me. As the season kept going, I kept mouthing and partner hopping, if you will. Every time someone had an absent partner, I became their partner. And I was envious of the friendships I started seeing form. I wanted to have a solid partner like everyone else. So let's give a round of applause to every single partner that I've ever had on this team, which is probably half of you guys, because I've partnered with pretty much everyone on this team. So, yeah. It was the end of the season, and it was the JV Novice State Tournament. I was partnered with Jason Chang, who has graduated, and we just kept winning. We broke and moved on and won. And I